I'm going to teach you about inverse variation. It's y equals k over x. That's the inverse variation equation. We find k by multiplying x and y together. You can also use x1, y1 equals x2, y2. Now, generally, it's easier just to use the x1, y1 equals x2, y2, but if the question asks for the inverse variation equation or the constant of variation, you have to be able to state the other two things. So I'll show you. If y equals 4 when x equals 8, find y when x equals 2, write the inverse variation equation. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to find what the constant of variation is. Okay, so the constant of variation is x times y. Well, we know right here in the problem that if y equals 4 when x equals 8, that means that if x is 8, y is 4 at that same time. So the constant of variation, or k, would equal 32. So if I want to write the inverse variation equation, it would just be y equals k over x, which is y equals 32 over x. This is important when you're doing ALEKS. They will ask you all the time for the inverse variation equation. That would be it. Or the constant of variation, which is k, so 32. Now, let's find the rest of the problem. It says, if y equals 4 when x equals 8, find y when x equals 2. Well, if you've already found the inverse variation equation, you can just plug in 2 for x and find y equals 16. And that would be your answer, okay? So if you don't have to do all this other stuff, you can just go x1, y1 equals x2, y2, and you're still going to go 8 times 4 equals find y when x equals 2. So watch, okay? If y equals 4 when x equals 8, find y when x equals 2. So you get 32 equals 2y and divide by 2. So y equals 16. So either way you get the same answer. I like the way that it's done in red, honestly better because it gives you more information. Number 2 says if y equals -6 when x equals -2, find y when x equals 4 and write the inverse variation equation. Okay, so we know that the constant of variation equals x times y. So I can say -2 is x and y is -6. So I multiply those together and I get k equals 12. So write the inverse variation equation would be y equals k over x. So I can say y equals 12 over x. So this next part, find y when x equals 4. All I have to do is plug in a 4 for that x and I get y equals 3. So find y, got it. Write the inverse variation equation, got that too. If they wanted to know the constant of variation, you would have this.